America, my friend.
That's right. Gary Simpson, NRC Security.
Oh, NRC is where you're going to arrest me?
No, I don't
okay,
have
well, then
arrest
don't be
authority.
telling people about what they're doing now.
You don't tell me what to do.
I'm not. You don't tell me what to do. I didn't tell you what to do. Okay?
It's a public meeting.
That's right. And so you just back off and leave me alone. You don't interfere with my constitutional rights.
Your constitutional right is not to harass.
No, it's not harassing. That's in a democracy. He's an elected official or appointed official. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So don't be hovering over me. Seriously. I don't appreciate you doing that.
Okay.
Nice job. What's your name? Let me have your card.
Don't have one. Hello?
Let me have your name. Mr. Security.
Yeah, what's up? What?
Okay, so Mike, your name?
My name is Mike Aguirre.
Okay, and who are you with?
I'm a private attorney that represents some of the whistleblowers that have given me information that this is a sham, that this is a dog and pony show. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission has already told these people what their findings are, but Southern Cal Edison hasn't even bothered to tell the Nuclear Regulatory Commission what they've determined the root cause was, 6 months after the fact. Okay, so this is all just a big cover-up, dog and pony show, and the idea of having regulated...
What are they covering up?
Well, they're covering up the fact that they're not getting to the bottom of it. They're covering up the fact that...
They're going to reopen the plant?
I don't know, but I know that there were substantial and material changes in those generators that has been documented that wasn't disclosed, and the NRC, instead of picking it up at that point and coming forward, no, they said we're going to do that later. Everything's later. But the most important thing is to put on a dog and pony show now, so that the other side can be here equal. I mean, how would you?
There's stakeholders in Edison that are trying to, playing a role in this.
They're going to be sitting right over there at the same level. Well, all their people are going to be over there. Just a second. That's what my whole point was.
Investors.
No. The officials are going to be sitting right over there. Well, see, why don't we have a judge have one side up with the judge, sitting with the judge, and the other side gets to watch it? That's not the way to do it. That's what they're doing here. I used to be a Senate investigator for the United States Senate. I'll tell you right now, in the old days, the Senate would have found out about this. There would have been some unhappy folk. But my only point is this. We know that there were violations of the rules. We know that the other side was supposed to... Well, when you never get them to agree to anything, you're pretty good shape. But I think that everybody would say that the generators that went in are materially different than the generators that were there. They were material and significant changes. So they didn't get okay ahead of time from the NRC to do that. Okay?
Because they said it was like for like.
Well, they said it was like for like. Then we found out it wasn't like for like because they didn't work. Okay. Now we don't know how much contamination was released. We don't know the underlying facts and circumstances, and the other side hasn't even come forward to say what they determined the cause was, the root cause, which they're supposed to have done. Our guys are now disclosing to them what they've determined ahead of time, so they can go back now and decide how to fit their facts. So we're basically telling them what we know. Imagine if any kind of criminal investigation where the detectives goes and tells the criminals, here's everything we have, now tell me what you did. See, and that's what's wrong about this.
We wanted to chat to get your name and information. Who are you?
My name is Mike Aguirre. I'm an attorney that represents whistleblowers.
Which whistleblowers specifically, Mike?
Well, if I've told you which whistleblowers they were, you wouldn't know who the whistleblower. I'd disclose their identity, Allison. You know I can't do that. I live in San Diego.
Are you afraid that might be retaliated against?
Oh, there is. Let me tell you something. This is the craziest situation you've ever heard of, Allison. The San Onofre nuclear power plant is what's called a federal enclave. As a federal enclave, there is essentially no whistleblower protection. So they're treated as if it's part of the federal government. So the irony is that at a location you have the highest risk to human life, where you would want to have the most protection for whistleblowers, you have a federal enclave where you have no protection for whistleblowers. And I can tell you that the whistleblowers that I do represent, I represent two. And I represent, both of them are safety oriented, and
Do they work for Southern California Edison?
They work for Southern California Edison. And what they are telling us is, and in fact, everything I told this gentleman here, which was news probably to some of you, number one, Southern Cal Edison.
Don't lie to those people about federal whistleblowers. You're lying.
Well, I don't know who you are, but you know that's kind of rude. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I do.
No, I don't think you do. So anyway, that's kind of that's what you're dealing with there. That's what the whistleblowers are doing. This kind of bully, hardball tactic.
No protection. If you're on a federal reservation.
One current, one former. So here's what the situation is. You had this event in January. If you look at what SCE has told their investors in the most recent 10Q, they say that they discovered this as part of a routine, as a planned shutdown. And then they tell you that they also discovered it as part of.
You bet. I've had people call up my boss's boss and say, McPherson's not paying attention to me. It's a safety-related issue.
And you say, have they told you what the cause is? 6 months later. And they say, no, we haven't told you what the cause is. They haven't told us what the root cause is, which they're required to do. So this is after they've already deviated from what the original generators were in material ways. And I think you probably know that. So then I called these guys and I said, listen, are you going to be asking them tonight what they say the root cause is? And they say no. I said, well, are you going to let them have equal prominence with you up on the podium here, as if you're making a joint presentation? Well, blah, 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 blah. Did you already tell them what your findings were? Yes. So this is just a dog and pony show. The other side already knows what the findings are. They've already been told ahead of time what the deal is. So this is just a rigged presentation to try to give the public the impression that there's something that's happening by the NRC when in fact it's not. And that's what the bottom line is.
Well,
and
hopefully we can speak up here and ask some good questions.
Well, but see, this is the disadvantage that you're at. You don't have access like they do to the inside of the plant. You don't have access to the records. You don't know the communications with the Mitsubishi. So you're relying on them to release that, and that's what I've asked them to do, is release all that information so the public can follow this. This is what they would do. When I worked for the Senate as a young man for the Senate Committee on Investigations many years ago, this is what they did in the Senate. They had hearings and they released all the information so the public can follow what was going on.
If I was to ask the one question on camera right now, what would the question, to release the information?
No, the question would be, has Southern California Edison, as they were required to do, identified for you what the root cause, they've determined what the root cause was for the outages that they have experienced with those generators? That's really the number one question.
And what about radiation releases?
Well, and that's the second part of it, is that's where you need to have the information about what they've actually detected. And what I see going on here is 6 months of cover-up. 6 months of getting the story straight. 6 months, of figuring out how we're going to do a patty cake presentation.
Are you pursuing any information?
Well, here's.
Are you? I mean, you talked about this at the Senate hearings.
Well, right now we are in contact, and I don't know. I don't know. If you think about it, Southern Cal Edison is regulated by the Cal PUC. The Cal PUC is headed by a guy that used to be the president of Southern Cal Edison, so you can't really rely on the PUC. The folks here from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission locally are very lovely people. Very lovely people. They're not making any decisions locally. The little guy that I was talking to, they flew him in from Texas.
What's his name? Do you know?
Elmo, yeah. He's from Texas. So if this thing goes back, he's going to be in Texas. He's not going to be here on the front lines, okay, where the poor guys from the NRC that are out here are. So those decisions, our fate is being determined by some official out in Texas. I don't know how you feel about that. That's not really my numero uno option in terms of the decision. So,
but are you pursuing other avenues
with your whistleblowers?
What we're doing right now is we have a pending case in federal court. Okay, but the problem is that we are running up against this federal enclave problem. The second thing we're doing is we have a whistleblower who's a very important whistleblower and a very important person within SCE, but we cannot figure out how to do anything without jeopardizing his job because he has no whistleblower protection. So that's why we came here tonight in the hopes of trying to at least raise people's awareness. We're passing out a thing saying we're conducting an investigation. Yeah, I'm the former elected city attorney of San Diego.
I know.
Okay.
I'm a good friend of Michael Kinsman's.
Oh, well, Michael Kinsman. Oh, my brother.
I know.
Mr. Blues, baby.
All right,
Come on. Okay. So,
do you have a card? I know where you are.
And can you please repeat
why you think this is a rigged presentation.
Well, this is a rigged presentation because the supposed purpose is for the NRC to tell the Southern Cal Edison folks about what they found. The problem with that is they've already told them, and they've told them a long time ago what they found. So this is just a presentation to give the public the appearance that some progress is being made in the investigation. And what I asked the NRC to do is to switch that table around, move the NRC table to the middle, and start putting these guys under oath and asking questions about what happened. We don't need a presentation from the NRC where they disclose what they found, and the other side hasn't even done that to us. I mean, imagine what kind of criminal. I mean, everyone that's ever watched a detective show on television, how many times do the police go to the alleged criminal, and say, "Oh, here's everything we have on you. Now tell us what you did." Okay, that's not a very good investigative technique under any circumstances. So
They're
hand
in hand.
yeah, they're hand in hand. It's a patty cake title. The other problem that you have is you don't really have the elected officials on the front line. You know, because of the powers. Southern Cal Edison does not have the management integrity to be entrusted with nuclear power responsibilities. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission appears to be compromised so thoroughly by the power of Southern Cal Edison that we really can't really rely on the NRC to decide when, if ever, the plant should be brought online. And the California Public Utilities Commission has no ability to regulate SCE given the close financial and historical relationship between its chairman, Michael Peavy, and Southern Cal Edison. So that's where we are. You know, good luck.
What about the former chairman who resigns, right? Jasper?
You got me on that one. I just learned some new information from you. What's your name?
Rita Robinson.
Rita? Nice to know you. What's your name?